I don't think Tyson was in tip-top shape going into that fight.
I agree.
But I think Ngannou could fight anyway. You know what I'm saying? I think Joshua can't take him lightly. It'd end up looking like, how it did for Tyson.
The Saudis' money doesn't seem to be running out anytime soon, which means it's time for another big fight in the heavyweight division. Recently, the Predator from Cameroon shocked the world with an exemplary fight against Tyson Fury and will now face an equally dangerous opponent, Anthony Joshua. Can Ngannou surprise everyone once again? Friends, in today's video, I'll tell you about 5 reasons why Francis Ngannou will destroy Anthony Joshua. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and leave comments in 4 words. Well, let's get started. Number 5. Counterpuncher style. How did Ngannou manage in the eyes of some fans to almost outplay Fury? The greatest minds of humanity have been pondering over this puzzle for weeks and concluded that a combination of different factors led to it. Tyson was in poor shape. He underestimated Ngannou. Francis had been preparing for a boxing debut for 10 years. The Sheiks paid the Brit to almost lose. All this is just the tip of the iceberg of speculations and assumptions. But joking aside, they are right about one thing: the fight turned out the way it did due to several reasons. Enumerating them all again seems pointless, so I'll mention one of the main ones, in my opinion: the Predator's boxing style. In MMA, Francis was known until the last moment as a reckless brawler whose main threat lay in his wild physical attributes. He hit like a truck, was incredibly fast for his size, and moreover, wasn't afraid to take punches. What more do you need to win? Well, for a top 5 level, these qualities are enough, but for championship level, one needs to evolve further, which Ngannou immediately started doing after his first UFC loss, although progress was not evident from the outset. Only the most attentive viewers began to notice glimpses of technical mastery in the Cameroonian's work. But no one even thought that this would be enough to face Fury. Indeed, if the Predator fought the Boxing King with his usual game plan, he would have surely lost, and likely by knockout. However, the Cameroonian changed radically. By abandoning his role as the aggressor, Francis began to think and wait for his opponent's attacks, adjusting to them, ultimately exploding and punishing mistakes. Good reflexes, timing, and the almost out of nowhere emergence of basic footwork allowed the challenger to parry many of the opponent's attacks. His raw power and sizable dimensions helped him choose his distance and not get stuck in dangerous positions, backed against the ropes. His knockout power helped neutralize his poor arsenal and made Francis' style more complete. Yes, for Fury, these opponent actions turned out to be a real revelation, hence why they worked so well. However, Joshua will know what to expect from Ngannou and will be able to prepare. Still, I believe Anthony, who hasn't been in a rush lately, will find it equally challenging to deal with Ngannou as he did with Fury. Number 4. Resilience. In MMA, Ngannou showcased a distinctive quality that set him apart from other heavyweights. If you're thinking of this guy's monstrous strength, you're absolutely right. But I'm referring to something else: his incredible durability. While 90% of heavyweights in mixed martial arts would crumble from a couple of heavy strikes, Francis could withstand Fury's blows without flinching. The Cameroonian's inhuman durability became evident to the world for the first time in his fight against Stipe Miocic. Miocic, the champion at the time, was on a streak of 5 consecutive knockouts, but even that fighter couldn't inflict any damage on the Predator in 25 minutes of the bout. Miocic was performing much better that night and managed to exhaust his opponent through strategic work before delivering his best shots. At one point, Miocic was even pounding the contender on the ground, doing whatever he wanted. Yet Francis seemed impervious and continued to wait for the bell. Since then, Ngannou's jaw hasn't been tested as frequently, as most opponents simply couldn't reach it. However, in the confrontation with Tyson Fury, Francis once again underwent a durability test. And what did we see? The Gypsy King repeatedly landed punches on the Cameroonian's stone-like physique, numerous jabs notwithstanding, but none of those punches managed to rattle Ngannou. Instead, it was Fury who got knocked down. It turns out that since his first foray into MMA title contention, Francis hasn't lost an ounce of his durability, giving him an edge against boxers now. Most top-tier fighters, including Joshua, have gone through brutal battles and sustained massive damage, so any heavy strike, especially from the Predator, could initiate a knockout. Francis can cleverly capitalize on this and engage in an exchange with Anthony, taking hits but delivering powerful responses. The key is to find the right moment and not let AJ slip away. But in terms of timing, the former UFC champion is well equipped. I understand that exchanging blows with a heavyweight, especially of this caliber, isn't very smart. But for Ngannou, with his limited arsenal and strong jaw, it's not the worst decision. Under specific circumstances, it could even tip the scales in his favor. Number 3. Clinch. The clinch is an integral part of boxing that many tend to overlook, but not Ngannou, who knows more than enough about it. In MMA, this distance is just as carefully studied as any other, so any high-level fighter knows how to work in the clinch properly, and with the kind of power Ngannou possesses, it becomes much simpler. Yes, in most UFC fights, the Cameroonian didn't resort to such close quarters as there wasn't a reason to do so. But when necessary, he always held his own well in the clinch. But can decent MMA clinch skills, albeit with immense physical strength, suffice to grapple at close range with the world's best boxers? It turns out, yes. Currently in the heavyweight division, there's no one who understands the clinch better than Tyson Fury. Up close to his opponent, the Brit feels right at home and always skillfully utilizes the clinch for his purposes: recovery, wearing down the opponent, and defense. No boxer who fought the Gypsy King could withstand his sticky and uncomfortable clinch, except Ngannou. Every time Fury attempted to clinch, the Predator either immobilized him completely or grabbed with one hand and launched a barrage of body shots. Moreover, the Predator repeatedly tried to catch the champion with a shot on the inside, succeeding a couple of times, but Tyson's tough chin saved him. No one expected such proficiency in the clinch from the MMA convert, but Francis approached his transition to boxing with a full understanding and modernized his work in the phone booth to confront anyone in it. Now consider this: if he managed to dominate Fury in the clinch, can't he handle Joshua? Anthony is undoubtedly strong physically, but he'll clearly be outmatched in this aspect by Ngannou, and he's never been renowned for his inside work. If Francis can break through Joshua's long arms, he won't just control him, but also inflict significant damage that will show over 10 rounds. Number 2. Left hook. The majority of Francis Ngannou's knockouts in his career were achieved with a single clean shot, often executed by his right hand, unleashing all of the Cameroonian fury onto his opponent's jaw. However, at some point, the best UFC heavyweight began to showcase that his left hand was also not lacking in power. The left hook of the Predator gradually made its presence felt and patiently awaited the right moment to make a statement. The first opportunity presented itself in the rematch between Francis and Stipe Miocic. In the second round, the challenger severely rocked the champion, who retaliated and moved forward. That was a mistake. A powerful check left hook nullified Stipe's brain in a split second, rendering him unconscious. It seemed like it was the shining moment for Francis's left hook, but in reality, we were witnessing just the first act. The Ngannou vs. Tyson fight began under Tyson's dictation, yet there was a noticeable caution from the Cameroonian, as if he was waiting for the moment to strike, and it happened. In the third round, Ngannou feinted, then punished the Briton with a mighty left hook, scoring a knockdown that rivaled Deontay Wilder's work against Fury in terms of spectacle. Anyone watching live was shocked, while Francis and his team were rather pleased. The plan worked. While everyone thought the Predator was a brute force devoid of strategy, he showcased himself as a high-class striker with good speed and timing for his punches. If you carefully analyze the entire fight, you'll notice several similar moments where Francis took heavy incoming hooks, but only one resulted in a knockdown, once again showcasing Fury's durability. Will the hook work against Joshua? I believe it will play a significant role here. Besides the fact that Ngannou can effectively feint and land a punch, the lead hook, that very strike that Anthony has always had personal difficulties with, could be crucial. Andy Ruiz once knocked out the Brit using almost the same hook. Of course, AJ's defense has improved since then, but he still frequently faces challenges against this strike, and in a bout with Francis, such mistakes are unforgivable. Number 1. Punching power. Being a puncher in MMA and in boxing are entirely different things. The smaller gloves significantly influence the power of a strike much more than one might initially think. A guy who knocked out everyone in mixed martial arts can instantly lose all his power when transitioning to boxing. For instance, consider Conor McGregor's fight against Floyd Mayweather, where the outstanding MMA knockout artist wore larger gloves and couldn't inflict any damage on his opponent, despite landing many shots. However, Floyd's defense played a significant role in that outcome. Before the showdown between Ngannou and Fury, many feared that Francis would suffer the same fate as his colleague in the past. There were concerns that the Cameroonian power wrapped in big boxing gloves wouldn't be as intimidating anymore, circulating among fans. Yet, even in this regard, the Predator managed to surprise. That knockdown in the third round showed two things. Francis can box well, and his nuclear strength can drop tough guys even here in unfamiliar territory. We've seen that Ngannou hits unbelievably hard even by boxing standards, and I believe he's currently second only to Wilder in this regard. Although considering recent events, we could already call Francis the first, but I'll leave that question for discussions in the comments. You see, the main problem in fights with such guys is that no matter how good and cautious you are, a trained and prepared puncher will always have a chance. Therefore, utmost concentration is needed throughout the fight, even when it seems that the danger has passed. It's precisely in these moments that the fatal blow often lands. Of course, it won't be easy to catch Anthony Joshua, especially now that he has partially adjusted his style and become doubly cautious. But guys like Francis don't need many attempts. They just need 1 second and one chance to land a devastating blow to the opponent's jaw and finish the fight. By the way, Anthony himself might increase the opponent's chances of success if he simply doesn't take him seriously. I believe that Joshua's cool performance against Fury and his team might attribute it to the weakness of the Gypsy King, thinking that AJ won't be fooled and will easily win. In case of such foolish underestimation, the Predator has everything it takes to make us gasp in amazement once again.